Okay, confession time. When I first started building my online presence, I was this close to buying followers. I thought it was a shortcut. You know, get those numbers up, impress everyone.
It's tempting to think that way, isn't it? We're conditioned to see big numbers and equate them with success. But what's fascinating is that the real currency of social media, the thing that actually moves the needle, is engagement.
That's what this whole deep dive's all about, right? Ditching the vanity metrics
Yeah.
and really understanding why engagement is king. We've got a stack of articles and research here all about building a genuinely valuable audience.
Exactly. And it all starts with a concept that might seem surprisingly simple: consistency.
Okay, so let's break that down. How does showing up regularly, even if it's just posting a quick story, actually translate to a more engaged audience?
Think of it like this. If you're constantly interacting with a friend's posts, leaving comments, sharing their content, they're going to notice, right? And they're probably going to return the favor. It's about building those reciprocal relationships.
That makes a lot of sense. It's like you're showing your audience, hey, I'm invested in this community. I'm here for the long haul.
Precisely. And there's another layer to this too: the mysterious algorithms that control our online lives.
Here's where it gets really interesting and maybe a little bit scary. Like, what do those algorithms want from us?
Consistency is key when it comes to algorithms. When you post regularly, the algorithm sees that you're an active user, and it's more likely to show your content to a wider audience. You're essentially proving that you're a valuable player in the social media game.
It's like you're showing up for practice every day instead of just once a month. The coach is going to give more playing time to the player who's consistently putting in the work.
Exactly. Consistent posting tells the algorithm, and more importantly, your audience, that you're reliable and invested. It's the foundation upon which you build everything else.
So we're talking about building trust with both our audience and the algorithms. But what about this obsession with follower count? You know, those accounts with millions of followers but zero comments. It feels like a hollow victory.
It absolutely is. It's like judging a book by its cover. You might be drawn to a flashy exterior, but what really matters is the story inside.
And sometimes those followers, they aren't even real people, are they? Like, I read this study and it said some influencers have a following that's like 40% bots. It's like, what's the point, you know? It's
Right.
like inflating your resume with fake jobs eventually. Someone's going to call your bluff.
Right, exactly. Authenticity is everything when it comes to social media.
Yeah.
You want to cultivate a community of real people who are genuinely interested in what you have to say, in what you offer.
So if we're not chasing followers, what are we chasing? What does real success look like in this age of engagement?
It's about those meaningful interactions, right? The comments, the shares, the DMs, even the saves, those little things that show someone is really paying attention.
Yeah, totally. It's like the difference between someone passively watching your Instagram story and someone actually, sending you a message about it. That's when you know you've really struck a chord. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And that kind of engagement, that's what brands are really looking for these days. Think about it, a recommendation from a trusted friend that carries so much more weight than just some generic ad from like a faceless corporation.
100%. I mean, when I'm thinking about buying something new, I always check the reviews, from people who've actually used it.
Exactly. It's about building trust, credibility, all of that. When you have an engaged audience, it's like your voice is amplified. You're not just shouting into the void, you're actually having a dialogue, a real back and forth.
Okay, I'm totally on board with this whole engagement thing, but let's get practical. What are some actionable steps our listeners can take, like today, to start cultivating a more engaged audience?
One of the most effective ways to boost engagement is surprisingly simple: ask questions. People love to share their opinions, their experiences, give them a platform to do so.
So instead of just posting a photo of my lunch, I should ask, what's everyone having for lunch today?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or, if you're sharing an article about some new productivity hack you found, you could ask, like, have you tried this? What's your favorite way to stay organized? That kind of thing. You're inviting your audience to participate in the conversation, not just passively scrolling.
That's a great tip. It's all about making your audience feel seen and heard, right? What else can we do to encourage those valuable interactions?
Don't underestimate the power of just a simple reply. When someone takes the time to leave a comment on your post, acknowledge it. Even just a quick "thanks for sharing your thoughts" or a relevant emoji, it shows that you're listening, that you value their engagement.
It's like you're saying, hey, I see you. I appreciate you being here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it creates this positive feedback loop. When people feel heard, appreciated, they're more likely to engage again in the future.
Yeah, for sure. I've noticed that myself. Like when someone responds to my comment, it makes me want to, continue the conversation, engage even more.
It's basic human psychology. We
Yeah.
crave connection, interaction.
Totally, totally. It's like they say, right, you get what you give. If you're putting in the effort to actually like engage with your audience, they're more likely to do the same, right?
Trust socially. It's a two-way street. And the beauty is the more you engage, the more you learn about what your audience actually responds to. You start to understand their interests, what they struggle with, even their sense of humor.
Which is so valuable. Like it's almost like having a direct line to the people you're trying to reach. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can actually tailor your content to what they need, what they're interested in, and then that makes them even more likely to engage.
Exactly. It becomes this like really positive cycle of connection and growth.
Hmm.
And the best part is you don't need any like, shady tactics or shortcuts or anything like
I
that.
know more buying bots. We're
Huh.
in it for the long game. Quality over quantity, building a community of real people who genuinely care about what we're putting out there.
Now you're getting it.
Hmm.
It's not about chasing numbers that disappear as quickly as they came. It's about those real relationships, those connections that actually last.
Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive into the wild world of engagement, what's the one thing you really want our listeners to walk away with? Like, what's that one thing they can do, like this week, to start building a more engaged audience?
Hmm. That's a good question. I think I would encourage everyone listening to take a look at their social media and ask themselves, am I creating stuff that sparks joy or curiosity? Maybe even a little bit of healthy debate. Am I asking questions? Am I, responding to comments and engaging in conversations? If the answer is no, well, start small, right? Pick one thing and try it this week. You might be surprised what happens.
I love that taking action, even if it's just one small step at a time. And remember, Rome wasn't built in a day. Building a thriving online community, it takes time, it takes effort, but the rewards, the connections, those real conversations, that sense of belonging, it's so worth it.
Couldn't agree more.
And on that note, that's it for this deep dive. We'll be back next time with another deep dive into the fascinating world of topic of next episode.